Jaden. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good? Okay. Well, today we're going to do something a little bit different than last time. Today we are going to go over the elements of a story. But before we jump into that, I found this cool reading attitude quiz or survey. And you're going to go through and read, like for example, this one says, I enjoy reading in school. 1 means you absolutely can't stand reading, and 10 means you absolutely love reading at school. So you're going to evaluate yourself and answer these things and just circle either 1 through the number 10. 10 being you absolutely love it, and 1 being you absolutely cannot stand it. You just don't like it. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. But right now, all I want you to do is read that and fill it out for me. And take your time. You don't have to rush. We're going to use this later on in our future tutoring lessons, and we're going to reflect back into it later, like maybe the last day of tutoring, and see if your attitude towards reading has changed in it, and see if anything has changed, okay? So we're done with this for today. Thank you for doing that. Okay. And next, we're going to look at this short little video. Do you know what the 5 elements of a story are? You never heard of them? Okay. Well, great. So we're going to watch this short video about the 5 elements of a story. I thought you might enjoy this. Sorry about that. Oh, what is going on with that?
Check it out. Yo, yeah. Setting. That's like where it's going down. Could be the train compartment, a castle, or a town. Could be the Arctic winter light to build a fire. The temperature's dropping, excitement's getting higher. Setting sets the scene, so the scene set. Could be a tiny restaurant where we met. Setting gives us the where and the when. Could be modern day, the future, or way back when. Character, conflict, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Character, conflict, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. say it flipped. Sometimes they had to make it to the beach, but the waves are big and the shore seems out of reach. Plot is a series of events like lemony snicket. It could be crazy, wild, or straight wicked. Plot, character, conflict, themes, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Plot, character, conflict, themes, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Knock, knock. Oh, it's the characters of people in the story who carry out the action. Characters can be pretty tiny and clean. Characters can be silly, whiny, or mean. That is a character, and so is Romeo. Pokemon has characters, and so does Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters can be dogs, lions, or hippos. J.K. Rowling chose Harry Potter. Who knows? Character, conflict, themes, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Character, conflict, themes, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Put your snack back in your backpack and I'm finished. That's a conflict, kids. A struggle in the plot. Now who's on top? Could be a fight for money like some robbers and cops. Could be an internal conflict, a struggle inside. Like I don't wanna tell the truth, but I don't ever wanna lie. Fix something in your eye. Now you're conflicted. What created drama? Conflict did. Character, conflict, themes, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Character, conflict, themes, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. The theme of the story is the main idea, the central belief, or the topic that's in there. It's usually something abstract like sacrifice, isolation, or resurrection. We back to life like don't die. So black as I know. The feeling to build a fire is survival. Survivor on your own like 5 What? Vocabulary, something that you have to get. Character, conflict, themes, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Character, conflict, themes, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting.
Okay. So, did you hear him naming all the 5 elements as he was singing?
No.
Which ones did you hear? Which ones do you remember?
The setting, thing, plot, that's it.
Okay. Alright. Well, I have created here an anchor chart. Have you ever seen an anchor chart at school? Something similar to this? Okay. So this is an anchor chart. And today, since we're going over the elements of a story, that's my title. The 5 elements of a story. So we've got plot, characters, setting, theme, and conflict. Do you know what any of these mean? Okay. Well, we're going to learn that today, and then when you leave here today, you're going to know what they mean, okay? Alright. So right here where it says plot. Plot is what happens in the story. The sequence of events in the story. Okay? So like, that's what happens. So think, as soon as you think of the word plot, is what? Like, what happens in the story. Characters. You know what characters are, don't you? Alright, so what would characters be in a story? Who's in it? Yep. So you would list all the people who are in it. So characters are who's in it. Plot is what? What it's about. Yep. And then setting. You know what setting is? Yep. When and where the story takes place. Okay? So if we were writing a story about me and you, what would be the setting? Would it be this house? Because that's where, right? And then when? It would be today. Alright? And then theme. Theme is the main idea of the story, the message or lesson the author wants you to learn. So theme, the main idea. So think of theme, think, main idea. And then the last one we have is conflict. You know what conflict means? Okay. Conflict is a struggle in the plot. The problems the characters deal with are obstacles they overcome. You have internal conflict and external conflict. Internal is the character struggles on the inside with emotions, so that means if you were having a bad day and you didn't tell me, you just keep it inside. External conflict could be the character struggles with events or other people, things on the outside. So if you come in here and you were mad, and you were just throwing stuff around, what would that be? Would that be internal or external? External, because I could see, right? Because you'd be doing stuff that I could see. Internal, if it's on the inside, nobody knows but you unless you tell somebody, right? Okay, so we've got plot, characters, setting, theme, and conflict. So tell me what the plot is.
What?
Yep, what happens in the story, right? And then what's the characters? Who, and then setting, when and where, that's right. And then theme, right? And then conflict. When you think of conflict, go ahead. Yep, the problem. Conflict is something that goes on in the story, okay? Alright, so now you know what an anchor chart is, and we kind of have went over these, and you kind of are getting to know them now a little bit. Alright, well, so let's work with them a little bit. Okay, we're going to I got these flashcards right here, and I want you, using my anchor chart, I want you to write the word, like plot, characters. I want you to write each one of the elements. I've got 5 cards here, and then their definition. Because sometimes when you write something down, it helps you remember it. So if you'll take just a second and write each element and its definition. So we're going to do it like, write the plot on front, like I'll do plot, and then you write the definition for plot. Okay? Then as you finish, slide on over to me, please. For a setting, you can just put when and where the story takes place. Like the setting, if we were making up our own story right now, would be my house and would be on Wednesday. Right? Okay, you got it? Theme. Try to sum that one up. Theme, you can put the main idea of the story. Period. And then for conflict, since it's so long, just put a struggle in the plot or the problem. Just put the problem. You can write that in the back. Alright, let's play a quick little game. I'll mix these all up, mixing them up. Then I'm going to pull one out, and I want to see if you know what it means, okay? What's the plot? Oops, let me have a paper. My anchor chart. You know what the plot is? Yep, you're getting warmer. What happens in the story? Right. The plot is what happens, okay? Alright, we'll put that one back in the pot. Okay. What are the characters?
Who's in the story?
That's right. So you got that one. Characters are who's in the story. What's the setting?
Where the story takes place.
Where and what else? Where and when the story takes place. Good job. Alright, and theme. Theme is the main idea of the story. So say your bedroom was decorated all in Carolina Panthers, because you like Carolina Panthers, right? So the theme of your bedroom would be Carolina Panthers, because everything in there would be decorated with Carolina Panthers, right? So same way with the story. If we read a book about two dogs, and two dogs take a trip to the park, what's going to be the main idea of the story? The two dogs taking the trip to the park, right? Okay, so we got theme. And what's the conflict?
The problem?
Yep, there's a problem, right? It's the problem between the characters. Okay, so let's go back to theme. What's the theme? Main idea. Think of theme, think, main idea. Okay, and then plot. Do you remember what plot is?
What?
Yep. Yes, what happens in the story. Alright, and conflict you said was what?
The problem.
Right. Okay, and the last one, let's go back to theme one more time. What was the theme?
The main idea.
The main idea. That's right. Good job. Alright, I'm going to let you hold on to those. Okay, now I've got this story. It's The Monster in the Barn. I want you to read this aloud to me, and then it's got a few questions that goes along with it. See, this is what it looks like. And then after you read it aloud, together we're both going to answer the questions, okay? And then later on, you're going to get to do some questions on your own, okay? Alright, so I'm going to walk over here where you are. And I'm going to let you read that aloud to me.
Bobby was preparing to go to bed one night when he heard a shrill screech coming from the barn outside. What could be making such a loud noise so late in the evening? He had trouble falling asleep. He tossed and turned all night long, dreaming about the noisy monster in the barn. When Bobby woke up the next morning, he ran to the barn to discover what caused the loud noise the night prior. Bobby was
Baffled.
He could not figure out what would make such a noise. That evening, after dinner, Bobby gathered his courage, grabbed a flashlight, and headed out to the barn. Where are you going? Bobby's father asked as Bobby made his way through the kitchen to the back door.
Okay, let's stop right there. Okay, so what's going on so far?
Bobby, or at the beginning of the story, Bobby was getting ready to go to bed and he heard a shrill in the barn.
That's right. Okay, we come across a few words. Were there any words you didn't know the meaning to? Okay, baffled means he looks like he can't believe it. It says Bobby was baffled, like he just couldn't believe it. He didn't know what it was, okay? Then it says, was there another word that you weren't sure of? Screech? Oh, yeah, that just means a loud screech coming from the barn. Okay, and I always remember when there's a period or a question mark, kind of stop and take a break. Like, I am going to find the monster in the barn that was making such a commotion last night, Bobby replied bravely. Commotion means they were moving all around out there making a lot of noise. Now you carry on right here.
If you are going to look for a monster, you might need some assistance. Bobby's dad responded as he walked with Bobby out to the barn. What did this monster sound like? Bobby's dad asked. It was a screeching noise, Bobby said, and it was coming from the barn. I know it. Bobby's dad began to chuckle as he approached the barn, and he took the flashlight from Bobby's dad. Bobby shining the flashlight up at the roof of the barn. Bobby and his dad saw a small brown owl in the
Rafters
of the roof.
Alright, stop right there. So what are they doing now?
They're going to the barn to see what the screeching noise was.
Yep, that's right. And do you know what rafters are? Okay, rafters are up high. It's like boards and stuff when you're building a building or something. Sometimes you'll have rafters and people have hay up there or machinery or storage. So I think when they're going in the building, they're looking up in the rafters, okay? Alright, so carry on. Let's see if they find them.
It was only a barn owl that you heard last night. Bobby's dad said they are nocturnal predators, so that is why you only heard them at night. He must have been hunting. Bobby was
Relieved. nocturnal. Do you know what nocturnal means? Nocturnal means when we go to sleep, they're up. So they're on the opposite schedule. So like for an owl example, you know, when we go to sleep at night, that's when owls come out. So was there really a monster in the barn? What was it?
Barn.
It was a barn owl. That's right. Okay. Let's answer these questions together. Number 1 says, the noise Bobby heard the first night was, and I want you to read the answers to me.
A barn owl flying, the barn owl
Screeching.
a monster in the barn owl building the nest.
Okay, so the first night, think back to what we just read. What did he hear? Did he know what it was? Nope. Because when we go back up to our story, it says Bobby was preparing to go to bed one night when he heard a screech coming from the barn outside. What could be making such a loud noise in the evening? He had trouble falling asleep. He tossed and turned all night, dreaming about the noisy monster in the barn. So we can underline that, right? So, it says here, the noise Bobby heard the first night was what? What did he think it was?
The monster.
That's right. So circle your answer. And that's correct. And how do we know that? We went back up here and we found it and underlined it, right? Because right here, it doesn't say it's an owl anywhere in the first paragraph, does it? It just says it must have been about the noisy monster in the barn. So he didn't know what it was. Good job. All right. And then we have here. Okay. This says the word baffled means, remember we talked about baffled? Does baffled mean scared, confused, confident, or shy? Let's find it. Can you find it in the story for me and underline it? When they first used the word baffled. Look at, oh, there you go. You got it. Okay. So let's read that sentence. It says, when Bobby woke the next morning, he ran to the barn to discover what caused the loud noise the night prior. Bobby was baffled. He could not figure out what would make such a noise. So let's replace that with Jaden. Alright, you're laying in bed, you're hearing this real loud noise, you don't know what it is. So the next morning when you wake up, you go out to your barn. You go out there, and it says, when Jaden woke the next morning, he ran to the barn to discover what caused the loud noise. Jaden was baffled. He could not figure out what the noise was. Excuse me, Jaden. So, what do you think that means? Jaden was scared, Jaden was confused, Jaden was confident, or Jaden was shy? Confused. That's getting foul. That's right. Because he wouldn't have been scared because he didn't say anything about him being scared. Or no, if he was scared, he wouldn't have went out there and looked at that building, would he? Or the barn. All right. So circle your answer. Good job. All right. Can you read the next question to me?
This passage is mostly about a father and son going hunting, dreaming of monsters, discovering the source of a strange sound, learning about different types of animals.
Okay. So let's do the process of elimination. Do you know what that means? Let's start marking out the ones we know we're wrong, because you can do that. So, it says this passage is mainly about, was it about a father and son hunting? Alright, let's mark that one off, because we know that's not right. Was it about dreaming of monsters? Was he asleep when he heard the noise? Nope, he was awake, right? So, it's not about dreaming. Because did our story mention him dreaming? Okay. Was it about discovering the source, and source means what's causing it, of a strange sound? Or learning about different types of owls? Was our story about learning about different types of owls? So mark that out. So what are you left with?
C.
So does that mean that's your answer? That's right, circle it. So what's our answer?
Discovering the sources of a strange sound.
Because that's what's Bobby doing?
Going to discover what's making the sound.
That's right. All right, can you read number 3 to me?
What word would best describe Bobby after he went to the barn the next morning after he heard the screeching noise?
All right, so what word would describe him? When he went back that next morning, do you think he was confused? He was confident he was going to find out what was making that noise? He was sad he was going to find out what was making that noise? Or he was intelligent about finding out what was making the noise? Do you think he was sad? Did it say anything about him being sad? Alright, so let's do the process of elimination. Let's mark that one off. Does it say anything about him being intelligent or feeling intelligent? Alright, let's mark that off. Alright, so let's go back to our story. Let's find the part where he's going out the next morning. Because it says, what word would best describe Bobby after he went to the barn in the morning? So, let's find out where he went. It says right here. When Bobby woke the next morning, he ran to the barn to discover what the noise was the night before. So if he ran, do you think he was confused? If he was out there running, what was he doing? He was going to find out what it was, right? He thought he for sure was going to find something, right? He was going to find a monster or find whatever it was making that noise. So what's our last one? What were we left with? Confident. Because he thought, do you think he thought he was going to find out what it was? Okay. Alright, number 4 says, the first paragraph is mostly about, I want you to point to me the first paragraph. That's right. Okay, so what's that first paragraph about? Without even looking at this paper, what did we read about in that first paragraph?
Bobby, he was trying to go to sleep and he heard a creaking noise.
That's right. And then what did he do? Then now let's look back at our story. Then
the next morning he headed out to the barn with a flashlight.
that's right. Okay. So now let's come to our answer choices. So the first paragraph is mostly about Bobby's dad telling him what the strange noise was. Did his daddy tell him what it was in the first paragraph? All right, let's mark it off. Did Bobby hear a strange noise in the first paragraph?
Yeah.
That's right. Alright, so leave that one open. Did Bobby and his dad go looking in the barn during the first paragraph? Or was that later in the story? Alright, so they're only wanting to know about what?
In the first paragraph.
So mark out C. And then, is the first paragraph about Bobby seeing a barn owl? Did he see the owl in the first paragraph? No. So what are we left with?
B.
Alright, so what's the first paragraph mainly about?
Bobby hearing a strange noise.
That's right. Alright, thank you. Did you like that story? You did really good reading. Really, really good. Okay. So, we're going to go back to our 5 elements of a story. I'm going to use these index cards we made earlier. Do we remember what theme is?
The main idea.
Give me 5. Awesome. Conflict.
The problem.
Right here again. Plot. Good job. All right. So, now that we've read that story, I want us to create our own anchor chart. Okay? So, we've got here, I want you to list right here, we're going to do characters first. Who was in the story?
Bobby and his dad.
Yep. That's right. If you need to see how to spell his name, it's right there. Okay, so Bobby, his dad. Who else was the story? Would the monster be a character? He's in the story. Even though we found out he was an owl later, he's still in the story, right? Alright, so we'll put monster. You label him monster, because right now all we know is he's a monster. Or you could put monster/owl. Alright, let's look back at our anchor chart. What is the setting of our story that we just read? Where did our story take place?
In Bobby's room.
That's right. And where else? If it was in his room, where was he at? Bobby's at his house? Yep. Okay, so write that down. So the story took place at Bobby's house because he was in his room, and then some of it takes place in the barn too. Okay. Alright. Now here's the second part of our anchor chart because it wouldn't all print on the same side. Sorry about that. Okay. What was the problem in the story? Was there a problem? Why couldn't Bobby go to sleep?
Because there was a streaky.
So do you think that was the problem? Yes, that's right. Okay, can you fill that in more? Alrighty. And what is the theme? What was the main idea of this story? What was the message or lesson the author was wanting you to learn? Need some help? Okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the story. And then it says, I'm going to read you the last paragraph and you tell me what you think the lesson in this story was. It was only a barn owl that you heard last night, Bobby's dad said. They are nocturnal predators, so that is why you only hear them at night. He must have been hunting. Bobby was relieved that it wasn't really a monster. He thanked his dad as they walked back to the house. As they reached the door, they heard a loud screech and looked up just in time to see the barn owl flying away into the night sky. So what do you think? What's the main idea of this story? You think Bobby's dad was trying to let him know that there was no monster? Not to be scared, that it was just a what? Just a barn owl. Okay, so there's our theme. And then, what's our conflict? What's the problem? Oh, we did the conflict, didn't we? So we did the setting. Oh, okay, so you've got it all written down. Alright, thank you. So now, so tomorrow or Friday when we meet again, if I said, Jaden, can you make an anchor chart and tell me the 5 elements of a story? Do you think you could do it? Alright, I think you could too. Okay, so next, we did that activity together. I've got something, a little story online I want you to read by yourself, and I want you to answer the questions. And this one, I remember last time you told me you like sports, right? So this one is how to train your dog to play basketball. I thought you might enjoy reading a little sports story. So this is what you do, and it's even going to score you. You're going to read the story, and then you pick the answer choice. See how, see how I picked the wrong one? And it said no, the right answer is in yellow. Then you go to next question, okay? But I want you to read the story. And if you will, I would like you to read it out loud to me. And then you don't have to read me the questions. You can read the questions to yourself and answer them all on your own. If you'll just read that story out loud to me.
Do you want to teach your dog to play basketball? Try this. Start by getting your dog to fetch a basketball and bring it to you. If your dog can't do that, you should stop now. Your dog will probably not make a great basketball player. Instead of taking the ball directly from the dog, hold your box or container at ground level and make the dog drop the ball into the box. Give your dog a treat every time she correctly drops the ball in the container. All good dog tricks should be learned in small steps. Every time the dog brings the ball back to you, raise the box up off the ground just a little bit more. Soon the dog will have to stand on their hind legs to reach it. Don't forget to reward the dog every time. Once the dog has learned to drop the ball in the container, try using a basketball hook instead of a box. To begin with, keep the hook low to the ground.
Then gradually means slowly.
Then gradually raise the height. Reward the dog with a treat each time she gets a basketball. Pretty soon your dog will start jumping to reach the hoop, and a basketball storm will be born.
Do you think you can teach your dog to play basketball? Okay. See, number 1, if you will, just try to read and answer the questions for me, and then hit next question.
What is the key to good dog training? What is the first step in training your dog to play basketball?
If you don't remember, what's something we can do? What were we doing a while ago when we couldn't remember what it was? That's right. If you need to, you just scroll back up and look back at your story, but you may even remember it.
Teach the dog to bring a ball to you. Teach your dog with a basketball net looks like.
said that's right. All right, let's go to the next question. All right, for each question you get right, I'm going to let you shoot. We got some paper balls. You're going to get to shoot one of these in here. So you got that one right. So let's try to shoot it. I'll put it like. You think you can make it if I move it way back here? Woo! All right, try the next one.
How do you get the dog to jump up to the basketball net? Put a board in the basket. Start with a basket low to the ground and keep raising it in small steps. Clap your hands.
If you don't remember, what do we do? Go back and do.
Go back in the story.
All right. That's right. All right, you want to shoot another one? Here, I'm going to move over here this time. Make it a little further away. Oh! All right, let's see if you can get another question right.
What is the first step in training your dog to play basketball? Teach.
You get it right? All right, shoot me another one. You gonna try again? That piece was a little small. Score! Do you play basketball? Good job. All right, let's see what's next.
How do you get the dog to jump up the basket? How do you get the dog to jump up to the basketball net? Start with the basketball to the ground.
Right? All right. Try that other one. Ah! All right, try one more question.
What is the good, or what is the key to, oh, shit. I picked the wrong answer by accident.
That's okay. Go to hit next question.
What is the first step in training your dog to play basketball?
Get it right? All right. Last basketball. Or last trash ball. One more time. Shoot until we make it. Ah! Try again. We can't end until it's over. Oh, one more time, guys. For it again. In there. All right. All right. So let's do one last review. Okay, this basketball story you just read me. Who was in it? Were there any people in it? But what was in it? Dog. It was an informational text, right? So it was telling us what to do. But if we had to pick a character for this, it would be a dog, right? Because they didn't mention any names, any character names. Okay, what happens in the story? What's this story telling you to do?
How to teach your dog to play basketball.
That's right. All right. So that would be the main idea. Let's go back over our 5 elements of a story. Let's go back to our index cards, characters.
Who is in the story?
That's right, setting.
What and who?
Yep, when and not when and what, but when and
I'm not reading.
that's right. All right, plot.
What?
Yep. What though?
What happened?
That's right. That's right. All right, conflict.
The problem.
That's right. And then
The main idea of the story.
hallelujah. And the last few minutes of our tutoring session, you will be able to play online reading games, okay? Alrighty, well, I'm gonna let you get to that. Thank you for being such a good participant today.